to build another building or go buy some other building. But it is they wanted to build another building, and Mr. Larry Silverstein acquired 99-year lease on these World Trade Center towers 7 weeks before 9/11 with Terrorist Act insurance in place.
Huh. Oh my God.
And somehow he got wind of Ken Lay's plan to take out MZR Dick Cheney and his anti-Enron VP staff from Halliburton by conning 25 Al-Qaeda Martyr Battalion suicide bombers to hijack 6 domestic airliners at the same time. So Star Act Flight 93 could slip into the world's most heavily guarded airspace over the White House and painlessly take out Dick Cheney and his VP staff from Halliburton so that all 25 could gain paradise and 72 virgins. Yeah. Nuts, just nuts. That's what it was. And now you hear ISIS and you hear all these people, and you see videos of them beheading people who are not believers and all that bullshit. I submit to you that all that is CIA promoted to keep the war machine going, to make kill toys, and send them over there, and give them to the local troops, and after the first gun is fired, they all run and they give them off to the ISIS. I mean, but the money, have to keep making more troops, they got to be making more tanks, and da-da-da. It's all about making money at the expense of human life. Don't give a shit about human life. Men don't give a shit about human life. Men can make new life in 5 minutes of pleasure. What the hell does a man care about human life? Women, on the other hand, have a whole different perspective.
Yeah, but you're a man and you care about human life.
I'm the exception. So's Rich. So's this character here. That character over there. We are the exceptions. Most men got one thing on their mind: breed the female, get that job done, go find another one. They're just normal animals. And then they get wrapped up with religions that tell them to get on their knees and pray, and they get totally confused, psychologically messed up. Anyway. So the question is, what made these attacks 41 minutes late? And they were, the attacks, in fact I have one of the exhibits in here, and I'd hope to have it done in time to have it printed out and show you all of them, show you all these exhibits. But one which you've never seen. FAA employee, hijacked jets almost collided en route. Portland Press Herald, Portland, Maine, Thursday, September 13th, 2001. FAA employee, hijacked jets almost collided en route. By the Associated Press, Nashua, 2 hijacked jets that demolished the World Trade Center nearly collapsed, nearly crashed into each other while heading to their target. According to federal aviators, they were killing time until Flight 93 took off. The Star Act Flight 93 was held in New York tarmac for 41 minutes. That's another exhibit here. Until Warren Buffett could get one of his funny little fat double-tailed net jets, little wide-body jets that were just small jets, but instead of having a little narrow body, they had wide bodies, so you could put a bed in there or whatever. But because it's a wide body and a little short thing, I mean, it looks like an egg flying around. It's just an amazing looking thing.
Did you ever find a picture of anything?
No.
Oh, okay.
They all took them all off the internet.
Really?
And I have one
Somewhere.
somewhere here, stashed away. But I have
All I can
See
find
it
was a
way
picture
back.
of a new one.
Pardon
They
me?
look a little different. The new net jets.
Yeah,
They got a wide body and the two big jet engines are back on the tail.
but they're all together different. This is very small.
Yeah.
Interesting.
This was only, I mean, really small. It was small. And it had, because it had a wide body, the rudders had to be up above the wide body. So it looks like an egg with a tail way up in the air, flying around.
That's
It really-
hilarious.
That's just ridiculous.
And they were
Why?
absolutely, once you saw one, you never forgot it. And that's what that's what Warren Buffett had to track Flight 93, so it could be shot down, because the whole plan for 9/11 was spoiled. Rachel Lamb, where was Laura Bush on 9/11?
White House?
Yeah, where was Georgie Porgy?
Some school function.
Right, he was down in Florida,
Yeah.
taking over her Read Don't Watch campaign. She'd been booked to do it for weeks.
Wow.
At the last moment, he left her to face certain death with Cheney and gang. Why? Because he was power-crazed sex maniac. He wanted sex in the Oval Office like his predecessor. Hillary looked away from it. She let him get away with it, but Christian lady librarian Laura wouldn't let Georgie Porgy do that. And the power-crazed freak exploited 9/11 to try to kill his wife. And Laura Bush knew she was supposed to be down at Emerson Booker School the next day, leave that afternoon on the 10th. But somehow they got into a fight, I guess. I don't know. He left her there. He took off, went down and played poker that night with Jeb Bush in Florida. And Laura Bush stayed in the White House. Now, Papa Bush, former CIA Director Papa Bush, knew what was going to happen the next day. And he knew Laura Bush was supposed to be down in Florida because that was his son's cover. And yet she was there in the White House. So he got busy and he came to the White House with Barbara Bush. They spent that night in the White House with Laura Bush. And he put out the order, you can't do this. He called Ken Lay, you can't do this. You can't attack the White House with Laura Bush in here. And Georgie Porgy's down doing her Read Don't Watch campaign at Emerson Booker School. There'd be no way to control the scandal. And they couldn't just call these suicide bombers on their cellular phones and say don't do this, because they were looking for paradise and 72 virgins. They'd been planning this for 2 years. They'd been trained by Enron. So the only way they could stop Flight 93 from being hijacked and crashed into the Pentagon was to shoot it down. They couldn't shoot down the rest of the flights because that would make everybody suspect. But they had to get it to shoot this one down. And the only way they could shoot it down was to trail it after it took off from Newark, because they had no idea where the hell it would go, how it would get to the White House. Once it took off, because there were 5 other domestic airliners flying around, and all airport control on the West Coast was just, and the East Coast was overwhelmed. And on top of that, Enron speculator Donald Rumsfeld, Secretary of NORAD stand-down Rumbledum, ordered NORAD's jet interceptors, which intercept something like 40 domestic airliners a year to stand down, selectively stand down. 2 of the 6 domestic airliners that were hijacked were intercepted by F-16s, NORAD, and forced to land in Canada. And I finally found some evidence of that somewhere in my file, and I saw that way back when I first started doing this homework, and I thought, well, it's on the internet. I never printed it out. Of course, then it disappeared. But 2 of the 6 airliners were forced to land in Canada, and those suicide bombers and passengers walked. The 2 planes that crashed into the Pentagon, there were 9 suicide bombers, and I guess they think they're in paradise in 72 Virgins right now. But the hijackers in Flight 77 that we are told went into the Pentagon landed at Reagan International Airport and disappeared into a waiting hangar. This thing was well planned.
Wow.
And to this day, we the people are footing the bill, covering up the truth about 9/11, and it's costing a fortune. The whole Homeland Security Act was a total fraud to cover up the truth about 9/11. There was nothing wrong with our Homeland Security on 9/11 except Mr. Rumsfeld ordered stand down. That's all there was to it. Since 1958, NORAD F-16 interceptors, they're stationed all around the perimeter of the United States to keep unwanted aircraft and missiles from coming into the United States, shooting them down, whatever, going out and meeting them. And there are C-130 platforms flying around right now around the perimeter of this country in Canada to detect any incoming flights. Still going on. All that was shut down for 4 of these flights.
By who? Who ordered that?
Rumsfeld, Donald Rumsfeld. I call him Everybody Duck Donald Everybody Duck Rumsfeld.
I love it. I love your name, Jenkel. It's great.
Speaking of names, the other day Rich invented one that I just got to tell you. We'll talk about it here. I've talked about the Christian wrong, and the Christian wrong want to kill all those Muslims that killed all them 3,000 Americans on 9/11. Total lie. And Rich came up with the name Christian meth mongers.
Oh, God.
I like Monica Lewinsky.
That's good.
And that's this man's.
Yeah, that's good and good.
But anyway, those little handles kind of make it fun, because this is a tragic, awful, terrible thing to talk about. And nobody else is talking about it. Nobody. Anywhere. Nobody. And in order to silence me, I've been put in jail 18 times. I'm the most successful self-defended defendant in California history, all false charges. And half of my 15-acre horse farm is occupied by organized crime. To drive me insane. And it, I don't know, it may still be, I don't know, but I got all this stuff written down here. These are facts, so I'm not imagining this stuff. As soon as I got on this track after 9/11, my second wife had great pleasure in telling people I was delusional. And in fact, other people have said that, but they can't say it now because I got these exhibits on. Okay, any questions? What?
There's 2 6,749 unplanned New York murders, and then there's 2,982, which we usually say.
Right. The
But
difference is the people who were killed in the Pentagon, and then the passengers and crew on Flight 93.
And I don't think she was actually.
Okay. So, let's get back on this. Waiting outside the supervisor chamber, it says here, on Tuesday, last Tuesday, 5 bound by oath of office and public employment contract elected California public officers on the Sonoma County Board of Supervisors, including Efrain Carrillo and Shirley Zane, heard Unconstitutional campaigners present a draft of the accompanying 14-page Abuse News 6022 entitled Forget Hillary's Damn Emails. She, Mike Pence, Paul Ryan, Mitch McConnell, John McCain are mass murderers and lying traitors. Everybody have a copy of this?
Where are you?
During public comment, this is the first page.
Oh,
Stand about the middle.
It's the first page of, I mean, it's just a one-pager.
Nope.
You have 3 documents here.
Oh,
no, we have
Seven.
two.
It's the 5-page one, John. Later on.
It's a 5-page one.
I don't have that one. Sonoma County.
Are we
That
here?
one?
Yeah.
Second.
I mean,
Oh, wait a minute.
The second page?
Oh, Sonoma County. Okay.
I just don't have one.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, that's the next document we're gonna
Together.
talk about. We're still talking about
Yeah, I don't think we
little
have one.
Donald lost his way, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And I name all these people who Donald Trump knows. Are traitors. He knows it because I've been sending this stuff out to members of Congress and him for the last year. Right, Rich?